Okay, so it is Friday, April 10th, 2026. So I wanted to do a quick check-in. I tried to do one last night. It just didn't work out the same. Well, work out as I wanted it to, or expected, I guess. So I'm just kind of redoing that. Yesterday was a weird day. And it seems like every time I reflect on my days, that's the first line that always seems to come out. It was a weird day. So I woke up yesterday to a message from my youngest saying that her dad would be bringing her to my place for our, midweek, one day a week visit, and then I get her every other weekend. Basically, I have taken on, not by choice, but the father role in this for whatever reason, which there is a reason. So, me and him had gotten into this huge thing last week because basically I caught him in a lie, and because of that, he immediately, and he does this all the time, he revokes, uh, in a way, access to her because currently I don't have a vehicle. And he is aware of this. And he has brought her here and took her home every time. Now, mind you, my first husband does this as well and has done this. As soon as he found out I didn't have a car, he made sure to make sure that we set up a certain schedule to where, this was when she was in public school, I would get her almost equally the same amount of time as him. Now, we do equal visitation anyways, but when you don't have a car and she's in school, it can make it difficult. But he made sure to put his daughter first and, come up with a plan with me. My youngest has a really hard time with that. Now, here's a situation with that is like, I don't have to call my ex-husband out on a lot of things. I think he's pretty, a pretty stand-up guy. We'll put it like that. And any concerns I do have about anything, I can either call, text, or we've even had face to face discussions, and sometimes they do get heated. But we walk away from it with at least some type of plan to move forward. So my youngest dad goes and he gets so mad at me because I call him out for basically, you know, being somewhere late at night on a school night and her going to bed in a place that's not her bed. Because I could see it on the location, which I now don't have access to, of course. So he immediately takes whatever he's given me and is like, just pissed, right? So when I wake up to this message, I'm like, and mind you, I had already like set it up with my second ex-husband that he would help me pick her up Thursday and Friday. Okay, so he's telling me he wants to bring her, so I ixnay that out of the equation. Now, I have been accused of being crazy for quite some time with this situation up in my attic. So I ended up sending my youngest dad the video that I've posted on my YouTube, my Facebook, and my TikTok of a necklace just swinging. People can say it's the wind. It's not the wind. I've lived in homes, even trailer homes. I've never seen anything move like that. Do I believe it's a poltergeist? Not one bit. Not one bit. When I sent the video to him, the first thing he says to me, the only thing he says to me is, you call the police or property manager. You don't think I've done that? You don't think I've brought this to them? It's a weird gray area because nowhere in our lease does it state tenants' domains, where they can go and where they can't when they share a attic crawl space. We can't get defined rules and regulations with that. The dude from the board says it should be implied. Well, not everybody knows what implied means, first off. Not everybody knows how to read between the lines as well. So What the fuck? Now, at the same time, my ex-husband, not my first dad, but my most recent ex, he is just completely shut off to me. Now, mind you, 2 nights before this took place, I stayed the night there because all this stuff going on here, I'm like, I just need a break from it. We were there. There's no touching, nothing, right? Um, because I'm just not there with him. And the following night, he wanted me to come back there and stay. And I know that that's because you want to bed me. And it's just not happening because I don't feel safe in that aspect to do that with him. So the next day, he's at the point where he's probably a little frustrated for whatever reason. Now, mind you, he's supposed to be my friend. He's supposed to be my buddy. Friend of me, most likely. But, they say keep your friends closer, your enemies closer, right? So I want to purchase an RF detector because I believe there are mics in here. As wild as that sounds, I found one in my wall. The problem is that I didn't record it when I found it. And when I found it, I went and plugged my stuff in. And because I believe this neighbor hacker of mine, yes, he's a hacker, I believe he can screen mirror any of my devices because he's hacked into all of them. He saw what I was doing and he went and removed it. There have been at least 2 nights where I know he's been up there all night working. One night I smelled coffee brewing at like 11 o'clock at night and woke up to the sounds of him working on something up there. And the same day that I woke up from that, my youngest is in my bedroom and she says she hears a beep, 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 beep in the walls. And she comes and gets me and she's like, Mom, what the hell is going on? She didn't say hell, but So he's tried setting something up in my room. Now, I know this may sound, when I say this, a lot of people are like, you listen to that? Well, I can't tell you how many things have been proven to me through this. But I had multiple readings that say there are cameras in my house, which is why I have this little fort built, because I believe I deserve, in my own home, a safe space where I'm not having eyes on me all the time. 100% believe it. So I want an RF detector. Now, mind you, this ex of mine, we're back into this part of the cycle where he goes from giving me anything under the sun that I want. He'll help me with anything that comes up monetarily, but then turns on me in weird situations. Doesn't want to buy the RF detector. Well, why? It's $40. He's handed me thousands of dollars before for silly shit. This is important. And that's where it comes into play of like red flags. If a man that you're seeing is not concerned with the fact that there is possibly somebody up in your attic watching you and your children, get away from him. They are most likely involved because the things that he has said at different points in time really link him up to this concept of like, they're trying to really fuck with my mind. He tries to gaslight me all the time. And I believe that he thinks that if he can, in the energy of trying to gaslight somebody, if he can get me to believe that there really isn't somebody up there and it's all in my head, then I become like this vulnerable, like then I'm like, oh God, what's wrong with me? And that's not the case. But that seems to be the aim. So then I can go to him and like, listen to every word he says and like worship him like a god, like, oh my God, save me. No, it's not happening because I see through the shit. So his whole demeanor changes from being super supportive. Like the first time I wanted to get up in the attic, I had a lock on my end that I put on by myself, and I wanted to open it up for when I called the police. And this ex-husband is like freaking out on the phone why I would want to call police. And I'm like, why wouldn't you want me to? This is so weird. You should be you should have already been over there knocking on the dude's door saying, hey, get the fuck out of the attic before I fuck you up. Never happened. Never. So then a delayed reaction, of course, at one point, because this dude, went out of his way, well, not really, because my daughter's room is right where the attic opens, to make noises and sounds to get my daughter's attention while she had friends over in a way of like trying to embarrass her. And that's where it's like, if I tell you something like this is taking place, you should be here. If you care about us, you should fucking be here. You should stop what you're doing and bring your ass here because somebody's fucking with my kid. Now, you may be thinking, hey, why didn't you do anything? Because I believe these people are trying to rage bait me, to pound on their door and beat the fuck out of them. Because that's really what I want to do, but I can't. And I won't. So, with all that little background there, my daughter gets out of school. Oh, and my ex-husband's behavior, like he says, wait, that was in the evening. We'll get back to that. My youngest gets out of school. I message to see if he's still bringing her because he won't respond to my messages at this point because I said, I'm sure that I tell you this and you're not going to do anything about it. Now, in between that message and me messaging my youngest about her being dropped off, I get a reading that says, these people are plotting together to plan a fight. Lo and behold, well, I get a message before they get here from my youngest dad saying, what am I even looking at here? Well, what are you looking at? Because you seemed to follow along in the first part of this message when I sent you the video and you asked if I've called the police. Well, why would you ask me that if you don't see anything? Now you're just being a cocky fucker. What am I supposed to see here? Which is pretty close and similar to the exact same response my ex-husband gives me about it. What am I looking at? Oh, so you want to discredit me in a way, like this whole push of this masculine patriarchy, basically, doing their damnedest to run women into the ground is becoming very, very clear to me. Okay? We'll get to that. He shows up, drops my daughter off, and I hear, like, I can tell he's getting out of the car. He's getting his youngest, and he's walking up to my door, and I'm like, this is about to happen. All right, let's go. Hey, he has no idea that I know this. He's like, do you want me to go check your attic? Motherfucker, do you think I need you to check my attic? Do you really think I need you to check my attic? Do you really think that the things are going to be up there as you roll up? You really think I'm going to go, oh, yes, please check my attic? No. You're not coming to my house, number one. Then he goes on and says, you want me to go over there and talk to him? I go, why? So you can, act out what you've rehearsed? Like, I don't think it's genuine. So no, I don't want you to go over there. Well, no, I don't want you to go over there. You should have went over there the first time I told you about it. You should have it was like the evening, and he messaged me randomly after he had once again revoked my daughter from me. Out of nowhere, says, well, she wants to see you. Well, no shit. She wants to see me every week. She wants to see me every day. So using that as a reason, I don't fall for. You're trying to pull on my heartstrings and think I'm going to forget about this other stuff because you're pulling on my heartstrings. I am a woman, but I wasn't born yesterday. And here's the best thing about this is they most likely, things just change. People change. People also know how to I can present to you one way, but that doesn't mean that that's really what I think or feel. It's a mask I wear to allow things to unfold naturally. I'm no damsel in distress. I can handle my business, especially when it comes to some creep up in the attic and whipping his ass, because I believe I could take on him and his chick at the same time. Or whatever, but I do. Because I've fought a lot of men in my life. Seems the way it's panned out, Why? Why do these men keep wanting to put me down? Well, there's probably a few reasons for that. I tell him to leave. You know, what time are you coming to get her? Now you can go. Because I'm not playing this game, and I'm not going to let him, part of me wanted to see him hit him. At the same time, I'm not going to give you that benefit of being like, yeah, this is going to work. It's not going to work. I see you. So later in the evening, just because, and I already know my ex-husband is like, he's tapped out, right? In terms of like giving good energy to this, like being helpful and being not even monetarily, emotionally supportive. Are his emotions real in that supportiveness? I don't think so, 100%. Maybe like 20, because he's playing a role. Regardless, I reach out because I'm like, well, I don't know if he's going to bring my youngest tomorrow, which is today, Friday. So I said, will you still take me to go get her? No, I'm not. Okay. You went on today and you were carrying on and talking about everyone and everything. I didn't speak to him about any of this. So how does he know I'm carrying on about everyone? I definitely believe there is a triangulation here. I believe there's a silent investor. I believe there's a middleman, which would be my youngest father. And then there's a body in action, which is the hacker. I even have a message at one point when I did call the police, and my ex-husband swears it's not this, but if you would have seen the way his demeanor changed when I brought it up again, it's very like, oh, no. Like, that's not what I meant. Okay. He was contacting somebody saying something along the lines of, it's this time, and you told me you called him at this time. And he's trying to say it was when I was talking about the cops, because it could line up just a little bit, but I don't believe it. I don't believe it for 1 second. I called the cops at 8 o'clock, and I think I was talking to him about 10. Still waiting for the police. Because it was a busy night, I guess. And I was not top priority, and I knew that. I was just merely wanting to make a report so things are on paper in case anything transpires. Like, say somebody tries to kill me. I end up dead. I think that it should be reported like where they should probably look. So for him to say something along the lines of, well, you said you called him at this time, but it's, I think it was like 20 minutes later. The time doesn't match up, number one. And number two, why is it him? I know that could be like a typo, but I think that was meant for a man. A man. The whole point of this. People can say I'm just totally out of it. I don't care what you say. I'm talking to the people who are going through the same thing. I'm not trying to get your sympathy or your empathy or any of that. I'm trying to bring awareness to a concept that seems to be pretty okay. So I uploaded the video of my necklace moving and put that my stalker ex was up rocking my house all night on a Friday night. I got 141 likes, 1,000 views. So 10% of my 10% of my likes, no, of my views were likes, which is, to me, I'm still like moving up in things. That's like an unprecedented amount. Like that means people are relating to it. People are going through similar things. And just because it may not be you doesn't mean it's not real. Doesn't mean it's not happening. Just because you can't like open your mind up to be like, oh wow, people can really do this. Because believe me, my head has cracked open in this. My head has cracked open, spilled all around on the ground. I've had to like look at these different parts of it, but it all comes together. The whole story comes together perfectly. And I'm not going to shut up about it. And I'm not going to be quiet about it anymore. This has gone on, not the stalking part of all of this, but in a way, my youngest dad has stalked me and hunted me from the moment I left him. And I left him because he beat the shit out of me. That was roughly 8 years ago. And we had breakup, makeup, all that stuff before then too. Still same kind of thing, but not as vicious. Which I should have saw the red flags then. I was a lot more naive back then. You know, I had no idea of what the world is or what reality is or any of that shit. But I've been hunted for a long time by this man. He'll come in my house. He has asked me for advice. He wants me to cut his hair. He asked me to cut his hair last week. Like, how do you think you're going to come in here and sit down and I'm not going to buzz your fucking right down the middle? But I'm nice on the phone. No, I just don't really, no, it's just not my thing anymore. When I want to just rip into him because I'm trying to do the mature thing here, which is co-parenting. I don't get met with the same energy. And I can bring him whatever my concerns are, one ear out the other. Man, I called him on so much shit a couple weeks ago. When I said I didn't have food here at one point. So I couldn't get my girls one weekend because I was in between months or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, hold on, we're going to go get food, LOL." And I said, "Well, you know what? Why don't you do me a favor? Why don't you cook them a home cooked meal with some vegetables in it instead of taking their ass to McDonald's every night?" And my daughter let me know that as that text came through, they were in the drive-through line at McDonald's. Rots your brain. Makes you dumb. There he is. So, my aggressions come from an honest place. Because then he'll go, the day that, and I'm not bad mouthing him, I'm just stating what has taken place. The day I caught him late at night at some place that wasn't his was the day that he called me early in the morning going on about my daughter's behavior as if to put this emotional weight onto me for me to worry about it and think about it and be concerned about it and feel all these things inside of me about it. And I caught on real quick, like, he's trying to offload this onto me so then he ain't got to deal with it. And we even got to, I was like, "Hey, call me when she's out of school and we'll sit down and we'll talk about this. We need to fix this. We need to face this head on." Instead, he goes to a woman's house to fix a few things. Fix your home first. She is the primary concern. She's a primary focal point in your life. Her mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health are so important. And it gets disregarded over and over again. Where he told her one time, you don't run my life. Yes, the fuck she does until she's 18 years old. And you should be making sound decisions based off of that. With her as the number one priority. Both the kids. It's frustrating. Because this is where trauma comes into play. And who's traumatized him. And why he is choosing to make the decisions he's making. And choosing the people he chooses. He's vilified every single female. What's that? So the men too, when they say over and over again, well, she was crazy. Well, who made her that way? Who helped push her? Little nudges here and there with all these different things. Honestly, I believe that we were all assigned a handful of men, us women, a handful of men in our lives as handlers and corrallers of the cows, of the heifers, right? Going, no, let's go this way. Come on, nudge you this way. Through all kinds of different situations, interactions, decisions. Where then we get involved with the love thought of it, and we're thinking, but what about this person? What about that? And not thinking about what we want. So what do you want? If you're still here right now, what do you want? Figure that out. Don't let anybody get in your way. I want my daughter because she was taken from me at a point in time where she never should have been number one. And I know that she is in emotional pain because of that. I want my daughter, and I want to be her mother. I am only human, but I got a good head on my shoulders, and I'm heading in the right direction. I don't care what you've heard about me. I don't care what you think about me. I know. And there have been so many injustices in this situation, in this entire scenario. And with the way the energy is changing and has shifted, that's about to change. Because I will stay diligent. I will stay determined with boundaries intact. You're not going to get one past me. You may think you do too. It's just a mask. I'm keeping mental note of all of it, and I got documentation for all of it as well. So nobody can come back and say, oh, well, she's just making that up. Oh, yeah, go through this journal here. Go through this journal here. I write it all down. If you're going through this, I'd love to hear your story. Seriously. And don't give up. Don't give up. Because they're going to come even harder. I guarantee it. They're about to come even harder. And you have to keep your nose to the grindstone. I think that's what they say. And don't let anybody coerce you with the words that they say to shift into doing something or changing your route. You can rework your route. They can't. Because that's where power comes into play. And this is all about power. Who's got it and who doesn't? Who can influence people? So then it's like, well, where does this all come from? I have my own thoughts about that too, where I do plan on releasing a video of it because I got some theories. If you're interested, let me know in the comments, and I might be able to get that out a little quicker. Good luck. Keep your peace. Whatever peace you have acquired and attained, keep it by keeping those boundaries up. Yeah. Join the fight, in a way, to release the chains from the male-driven, ego, prideful-based patriarchy. What's the picture? Yes, we can. Yes, the fuck we can. Peace.